challenge one more time.
Hey! Oh my God, 39 minutes. Da, 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 da. The world is abnormal, and actually everything is abnormal that we see. That's exactly what you said. Is it 3? Is it 4? Everything is totally abnormal. And actually that you are here is completely abnormal. If you look at the world, there's over 7.9 billion people that are not here. Not being here is totally normal. Being here is totally abnormal. So the question is, what is abnormal and what is normal? So let's look at it. When you look at school, when you go to school, you probably learn the Gaussian bell curve. You probably all know that, and they say there's this average normal, and the average normal is what everybody does, what everybody likes. And if you look at this particular curve, it says that 68% of everybody do the same, want the same, like the same, and more or less are the same. And this creates a sense of safe harmony. I do something that everybody likes. I'm in the middle. Look, the middle of the market. It's really safe. It's really good. But the average normal has a really, really big problem. The average normal dramatically simplifies things because we are not all alike. We are not all alike. We are all different people. And being in the middle, simplifying like crazy, leads to major dangerous decisions. If you're an animal and you're in the middle of the road, it is not good. We think the center is safe. We think it's good to be in the middle of the road. We think it's great to have a product that everybody likes and a service that everybody likes. But if you are there in the middle of the road, you will be killed very, very quickly. It's extremely dangerous to be in the middle of the road because a car kills you immediately. So the center does not exist. The average does not exist, exactly what we just heard before. If we go to a bar, like I will do in 1 hour, and Elon Musk enters the bar, you might know Elon Musk has an income of over $200 billion. The average normal in the bar is that everybody is a billionaire. If you take all the money and you divide it by the people, if there's 200 people in the bar, everybody has more than $1 billion. And you say, hey, this is really good. But it's not true. It is not true because we don't have an average normal, just like we heard before. We have an egocentric normal, the thing that I find normal. You find it normal to be here and not to be in Indonesia or something like that. Or the 3 and the 4, the 6 and the 9, exactly that thing. In reality, he is rich and we are not. So the thing is that the egocentric normal is a matter of perspective, just like we heard before. So let's look at perspectives. And let's look again at the bell curve. Most people know the bell curve, at least in Austria and probably here too from school, where actually school grades are created by the bell curve. The best people, only a few people are very, very good. They probably have a 10 and a 9, then it moves to 8 and 7. In the center is 6, 5, 4 and stuff like that, and then the people that are not so good in this particular subject might have only a 2 or a 1. So we say the average people will probably have 6, 5s, and 4. That's normal. So if your kid says, I have a 6, I have a 5, you say, not so good, but hey, it's normal, it's average. Maybe you can be better. But if we only look now, and the few people have the best grades and not so many people have the worst grades, right? If we now look and change the perspective and only look at the people with the very good grades, flip the sides around, then the average normal turns into what is called the hockey stick. The hockey stick. And the hockey stick means that there are very few people that have great results, which in your case means there are very few people that are excellent sports people. There's no average. We're not talking about the average. Only very few people will win Olympic gold. Very, very few. And the rest not. And this is what I call not the average normal, but the fringe normal, the people on the sides, the abnormal ones, the crazy ones. And if you look at that, you will notice that we are not average at all. we are good at certain things and not so good at other things. There are certain students that, for instance, in math might have very good grades normally all the time, but maybe not in languages, or not in art, or not in something else. So some people might have very good grades in math and normally not so good grades in the other things. If you look at sports, there are some people that score, and those people are in the offensive, and then there are other people that don't score because they're in the defensive. They have a different job. Just like we heard before, if you have a team, you have to diversify. So the defense is extremely important, but don't say you never score. That's not his job. It's like a superhero team where you have to make sure that you have everybody in the team, the good, the bad, and being different is the best thing that you can be. So you have to be different, you have to act different, and you have to think different. And there's one ad, I normally come from the advertising world, that really changed my personal life. And if you're old, you probably know it. If you're not so old, you might not know it. This is from the 80s or something. It's the Think Different ad from Apple computers. And I just want to show this to you because it celebrates being abnormal. It celebrates to be different from everybody else. And here it is. Sound.
Here's to the crazy ones. The misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
The people that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world probably will. So be crazy, embrace craziness, and be different. Very, very important. If you have a kid that does crazy things, be happy. Don't hammer them down. There's this saying, if the nail sticks out like this, you can either hammer it down or you will notify it. You will notice it. You know, it's better to be noticed. It's better to be edgy than to be round. So whenever you do something like an advertising campaign or a social media campaign or something like that, if it's round, it's boring. You cannot build anything with round stones. It has to be edgy. It has to have hooks. That's a really, really important thing. So be different, act different, think different, and love if people are different. This means to you, you need to keep reinventing yourself, reimagining yourself, and reboosting yourself, and not only yourself, but also your team. And the most important thing here is that your team needs to go to new places, because we're talking about innovation. Innovation is behind the wall, not in front of the wall. So the team has to go to a place that is behind the wall. And I told you before, we've been going to new places all the time. When you're a kid, you say, I need to go to new places, and you learn how to walk, or learn how to drive a car, learn how to ride a bike, learn a foreign language. You all learned English. You probably didn't know English before. You all learned math. You all learned those things. Those are important things because as a kid you used to embrace the things that you cannot do, and you said, I want to learn them. And now sometimes we stay away and say, it's a problem, I don't want it. We heard problems are good. Embrace problems, seek your walls. If you're a kid and you learn how to walk, how good is your success rate? Really, really bad. Kids fall down 50 times an hour when they learn how to walk. They fall down, poof, and they get up. That means that a baby has a serious Terminator attitude. A baby has totally this like, I'll be back. And it gets up and it does it again and again and again and again and again and again. So what do you do if you have a baby and your baby has the I'll be back attitude? How can you support your baby? The most important thing, I said it, it's already supportive. You support. So you have to give the baby a supportive boost. The baby falls down, you don't say, "You fool, you never walk. You idiot. Can't you walk? Look at me, I can even stand on one leg and you need 4. You are nothing." That will never happen. You say, "Come on, do it again. It's not so bad. You're the best." You have to be supportive leader. It's called servant leadership, where you serve the baby, but you lead. So you have a goal, and you serve the baby in achieving that goal. Service leadership is very good. A supportive boost is very good. You have to praise for effort, not just for results. You said, "Yeah, you can do it. You did it already really well." You were almost up for 2 seconds. So you give it, you don't just look at the results, you also look at the effort. And then you celebrate success. "Oh my God, well done, I love you, come into my arms." That's what you do. And you have to do that again, right? You have to help to improve. You have to make sure that the kid can walk, and sometimes this means buying equipment, like shoes. If you crawl, you don't need shoes. When you can walk, you need shoes, right? So equipment is relatively important, equipment and skill. The most important thing here is that the equipment, the cost of the equipment is normally very small. So buying shoes is relatively small. Learning the kid, then teaching the kid to become a world champion in running, the training is very, very high. So it's hardly ever about the cost of the equipment. It's always about the cost of implementation and training. This is important because we will also later talk about virtual reality and all those kind of things, getting apps and things like that. The cost of the equipment is nothing. It's very minimum. The most important thing is that you train the people to use it. And finally, obviously, you need to measure progress just like you do in a gym. Because the baby is the Terminator. He's inspired by Arnold Schwarzenegger. There is Arnold. Yay, really good. He's from Austria. Good guy, but lives in California. And when you are in a gym, you have short-term goals. And the short-term goal is very, very easy. It is just, come on, one more push. You do 9, 10, one more, 11 short-term. That's enough. Short-term goal is just the next push, not more. You say one more step, one more push. You don't say one more push and you will be world champion. That's just one more push. Concentrate on the small thing. Go! Go, 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 one more. Then you have medium-term goals, which is to increase weight by so and so much percent. I need to be, 5% heavier or have so and so much more muscle, and that's the medium-term goal. And you have to be aware of that. But the most important thing we heard about in the keynote before is the long-term goal, and that is to be the best in the world. And the thing is that you use the short-term goal when the people are in action, one more, and the long-term goal you need to visualize in your mind. You probably heard that in the keynotes before. For instance, when you go to bed, you just have to say, "I'm going to be the world champion. I'm going to be the best." There's a lot of people in Austria that climb mountains, and they say the most important thing to them is to visualize themselves standing on top of the mountain. And they do that always right before they go to bed, and then they always say, "Did I achieve something today that made me get closer to this goal?" You do that in a very relaxed thing. And if you measure it, you can even measure that. For instance, you want to be, some more sporty, you can say, "Did I do anything today that makes me more sportive?" And if you didn't do anything today, you give yourself a 0. And if you did something, you give yourself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus. And if you didn't, if you ate cake and just stayed at home all the day, you give yourself minus. So in your case today, if you don't go to the gym tonight, it's probably -2. You're just sitting all the time and eating cake, right? So the thing is that you just do it very roughly. Was I neutral? Was I a little bit bad? Or was I a little bit good? And then you add it up at the end of the month. And if the sum is 0, it's no good. And you can do the same for innovation. I want to be more innovative, and I want to do more things. Then you have to ask yourself every single day, what did I do today to make myself more innovative? Did I do anything, or is it just a dream? And you have to measure that relaxed when you go to bed, very, very roughly. Those are the long-term goals: best in the world, best in service, best in technology, best in experience, best in satisfaction, recommendation, retention. The thing is, you need to boost your performance. If you want to boost your performance, you need to move from brand to experience, number one. Experience is really great, and experience drives the world. People love experience, and experience itself is not new. We are obviously Homo sapiens. This is our skull in Homo sapiens land. We are Homo sapiens, and our species came to the world not 1 million years ago, but 100,000 years ago. And all the skulls from 100,000 years ago from Homo sapiens are found in one particular area in Botswana in Africa. So there was no Homo sapiens in Riga, for instance. We were not there. We were all in Africa. All the bones, all the skulls are in this one spot. And if you look at that spot, you will notice that spot is perfect. It's awesome. It's really like our birthplace. It's absolutely great. You have beautiful sunsets, you have good animals, and you have monkeys and bananas, and everything is fantastic. Probably good coffee, everything you want, right? This is a perfect space. And we were there for 100,000 years, or thousands of years. And after thousands of years, one person said the most fundamental sentence of humankind, the sentence that drives us as humans. And that sentence is, I'm bored, let's go somewhere new. The sunset is great, the food is great, the monkeys are funny, it's really good, but I want to experience something new. I've seen this for 10,000 years. I'm bored. It's not enough. I want to go someplace new. And that is what happening today. Experiences, we want to experience something new. Experiences are replacing material goods as the most important product of the 21st century, says Forbes. We all have enough T-shirts, or most of us. We want to experience something. We want to go to Paris, Rome, much, much better. If you look at kids my age, we wanted to own a stereo, a sound system. The kids today want to go to a festival because they have the music on their phone anyway. They want to experience something. 76% of all consumers would rather spend money on experience than on material items. 86% of all consumers are ready to pay more for a better experience. Experience makes the people come back to you. Experience makes them to actually play better and be a better member of the team. We all want more wow. That is why the old Mad Max and the new Mad Max is more mad than the old Mad Max. It will be more mad. The new Fast and Furious is more fast than the old Fast and Furious. The new Doctor Strange is more strange than the old Doctor Strange. You have to ask yourself, if the people go to your club, is it more fun, more sporty, more strange, more what? You have to keep adding things. It should not be the same. Otherwise, we are in Botswana and we say, I'm bored, let's go somewhere new. I've seen it too many times. You have to keep creating experience constantly. It's a shifting baseline where we always want bigger bottles, better fun, more something. And this is what is happening constantly. So the question is, if experience is driving us, if you get bored if you don't have the experience, if you stop going to the gym, if you stop going to your club, if you stop doing sports, why is it you have to keep going? If you're bored, you will stop doing experience. The question is, what is an experience? And an experience is relatively easy. If you go to a club, service is what you get. Service is the hard facts. The hard skills are measured in physical terms. If you go to a cafe, for instance, the question is the coffee good? Right? How fast do they deliver the coffee? This is the thing, but the experience is, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? And experience is a soft skill that is measured in psychological terms. Does it make me happy to drink their coffee, or is it just good coffee? So if you have a sports club and you might have the best equipment, but how is the experience? Do the people like it? Are the people friendly when they get there? That's a deciding factor. I much rather go to a club that's more friendly and more fun and has not so good equipment than to one that has the best equipment but is unfriendly and stressful. So experience is really important, right? So experience is, how do I feel about it? The emotion is the experience thing. And the question is, if experience is an emotion, what is an emotion? And emotion comes from the Latin word e and motion, and that e stands for ex, means outside of you, and motion means to move. So an experience is either attractive, oh my God, that's good, I go there, or it is repulsive, I don't want to go there, and then you go away. So the experience creates an emotion, and either you're attracted to your club, I want to go there, or you walk away, I'm repulsed. And so the experience and the emotion adds kinetic energy. I do things. A fact, if you just have a fact leads to conclusion. Let's say you're out at home of milk, soap, toilet paper, and bread. That's a fact. And the conclusion is, hey, you need to go shopping and you need to buy milk, soap, toilet paper, and bread. That's the experience is I'm drinking too much. It's a fact. The conclusion is I shouldn't drink that much. I write it down. That's the conclusion. Emotion, however, leads to action. So you have a shopping list. That happens to me constantly. I have the list in my hand. And in my hand it says milk, soap, toilet paper, and bread. And what do I buy? Beer, wine, chocolate, and pizza. So this is the fact, and this is the emotion, and the emotion wins. And then I bring it home, and I have a very nice wife, and she says, much better anyway, beer is fun, and chocolate is better than milk and bread. So that means emotion beats facts, experience beats products. Very, very important. And if you look at the world of retail, we can see what they are doing currently, right? In retail, the whole thing is moving away from products to experiences. It used to be that we have a store where they sell certain products. So selling products was where you go to a store is where you went when you want to buy a product. Now we're selling experiences. This is a Starbucks roastery. I saw you have Starbucks, but you don't have Starbucks. I think you have Starbucks, right? No? Ah, yeah. Then you also don't have Starbucks roasteries. Starbucks roastery is a coffee shop where they roast. It looks like that. All you do is you take photos, right? There are stores that are like adventure things. In this store, you have to go through a fridge to come to another room. That's an adventure thing. The bookstore is sometimes like this. And if you have those things, that's not about, I have more books. It's just like, oh my God, can I take a photo? It's an experience. You see something that you didn't expect. So you have to ask yourself, do you create those things? Do you have those secret rooms? Do you have things that people find sexy? And all the things that we used to like as a kid, secret passages, crazy things, they are still with us today. So create experiences, not just facts. The next thing, if the store becomes a stage, the customer, who used to be like that, becomes the star. This is the Museum of Ice Cream, and you can take photos of yourself playing with ice cream. This is the Vans shop, I think, and you can skate down a railing. So you are the star of the store. The store is not just about products, it's about experiences where you are the star. There's a product, a really boring product in the United States called Old Spice, which is just aftershave. But they created a thing that is a barber shop doubling as a content studio. And you go there and they will film you when you get your hair cut. And then sometimes somebody like Justin Bieber or somebody drops in and interviews you. And then they put it on Facebook and you go, oh my God, this is totally amazing. You don't have a better haircut, but you have a better experience. So they put all the money in experience. The question is now, if the customer becomes the star, the store becomes the stage, the customer becomes the star, what happens to the product? And the product becomes the scene that you're acting in. This is a banana shop, or I think, and again, you take photos of yourself in that thing. So the thing is that we are entering an experience economy. The trader, the person who sells things, becomes the trader, becomes a stager, becomes a person who builds stages. So you have to think, does my club build a stage for somebody? The product features that you used to have become sensations. Oh my God, I can skate down, I get videotaped when I get a shave and stuff like that. And the things that we used to measure, 1 kilo of bananas, 6 bottles of gin, 12 pairs of chocolate, becomes things that we remember and things that we share. And if you look at the store again, this is not 1 kilo bananas. It doesn't matter how much it is. It actually doesn't cost $1.99. Entering the store, is $38. The people pay to enter the store to make photos and post them on Instagram. It's all about the experience. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how good does my experience have to be so that I can charge money for it? If you go to any supermarket, they don't charge because you would never pay any entrance because there's no experience. It's totally boring. How great do you have to be so that you can charge money? Oh, everything okay so far? Good, let's keep rocking. Next thing, experience is individual. We heard that with the 4 and the 3 things, the 6 and the 9, you experience it. You as a person experiences it and you are right. There's not a target group, right? Some people think that the show should start and others say, I hope they don't start yet. I need to call somebody. You experience a thing, very important. And finally in experiences, the experience is social. You need to tell your friends about a great experience. There's a lot of research, and this is I think even a European one, not an American, that says that way over 40% of everybody wants to communicate their experience with somebody. If you see something great, you have to say, oh my God, I saw this is fantastic, I need to talk to you about it. Or I just had a horrible experience, I need to talk about it. Experiences will be shared. Nobody shares a product, nobody calls a friend, you know what, I bought a banana. That's totally boring. You know what? I just got a new shoe. That's totally boring. But you know what? I bought the shoe and there was a monkey and the monkey was juggling with the shoe and then, that's fun. So the thing is, how can you create experiences that people are willing to talk about and willing to share about that? Do you do that? Do you not do that? Next thing, if you move from brand to experience, you also need to move from product to ecosystem. And your job in the ecosystem world today is not just about one channel, like your sports club or whatever, but it's a multiverse. You need to be a multiverse magician of creating things offline, in the digital realm, and in the virtual world. And the question is, how can you add experiences, especially digital experiences, to your things, to whatever you do? The answer is relatively simple. The answer is you have to start thinking physical and digital is one. There's no more separation. I'm here physically, this is digital, you experience is that one thing. And this is called phygital. Physical, digital, phygital. And if you look at any experience, a normal thing is always moving from the digital world to the real world. For instance, the normal direction of ordering a taxi, I will need a taxi soon, is we use the mobile phone, call the taxi, digital, and then a couple of minutes later, a physical taxi is there. So we are all used to moving from digital to physical, right? When we order things at McDonald's, you now don't talk to a person, you go to a machine. If you're a little bit more sexy, you can actually buy virtual things where you put on a 3D, like an Oculus Rift, and you look at your room, how would it be with this furniture? If you have IKEA, you know the IKEA app, you just look on your phone, oh, this is how the sofa would look in my living room. So this is already, you have a digital experience, you have a digital technology, you evaluate the experience, this sofa would look best, and then you buy it, you push the button, and then it's being delivered. This is happening with furniture, this is happening with cars, this is happening with all kinds of things. So the direction digital to physical is normal. The much more interesting question is the other direction. How can you add digital services to a physical product? Like a sports shoe, a sports bag, a sports jersey. And there is a great company. This is a physical product, a T-shirt. And I was in Switzerland recently, and there's a company called Collect ID. And what they do is they take the T-shirt, this is from some Brazilian club, and in the T-shirt is a integrated chip. And all you need to do is you move your phone to the integrated chip, poop, and it immediately authenticates it. It says, this, by the way, is the real T-shirt. It's not a fake. This T-shirt, this jersey costs maybe 100 euros. A fake would cost 10. And there's a lot of clubs in Latin America. For instance, in Mexico, wrestling. You might buy a wrestling mask. Is it real or is it fake? And you want to buy the real thing. So they authenticate the product, step number 1. Step number 2 is that this becomes a gateway to the metaverse. Because you buy the product for real, and if you have a digital avatar in a game or in the metaverse, the avatar can wear your T-shirt. So you can show, hey, I'm a fan of this club, and you can do this in the digital world as well. Very interesting. And then you get product individual messages. For instance, this is from another thing where a guy who has a certain jersey thanks you for buying the jersey, and you can even get local sponsoring. And I met them, and they gave me this thing, and I found that relatively interesting. This is a scarf of a German soccer club. And here's the tag. And they use the scarf as everything. They end like, this is my phone, and you just go like this. Boom, and I have it here, and I open it. And there's now the information. Yeah, this is the information, and then here, this is authentic, and I get information, blah, 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 blah. And they use the scarf as the ticket. So you go to the ticket booth, and you go pip, and then you're in. And then maybe if your team scores, free beer for everybody with the scarf. And you can go and say, boom. So it can be updated immediately. So the physical thing becomes a digital gateway. And I find that relatively interesting, and especially for sports things. There's a, where's my clicker? A guy from Nike. Nike, as you might know, works together with Artifact, which is spelled R-T-F-K-T, Artifact. And they create digital experiences for their shoes in the metaverse. And the Nike guy, a lot of people buy Nike shoes because they want to be cool. They're collectors. And the merchandising man of Nike said, very soon, anything cool without a digital footprint will be uncool. This means that your kids relatively soon wear a digital shoe, and then they go, peep, here, look. Or I have it in the metaverse. And this is happening, and the experience in the metaverse or in the digital realm is relatively important. Why? Because it's more social. You can get 1,000 likes in the metaverse. You can get 3 likes in the real world, if even. So that's why a lot of people are doing it. The most important customer, the most valuable customer is the hybrid customer. If you have a customer who has the metaverse and the scarf and the real ticket and actually goes to your thing and has the bag, it's very, very good, because many touch points mean high engagement. It's very important. So when you try to increase your experience and roll it out, try for digital things. Make sure that you have an app, that you are in some sort of computer game, ideally. Metaverse is not a complicated thing, that you have maybe 3D experience and stuff like that. Try to add that. It's a lot of work. It's definitely a wall, but you're in a team. You don't have to be able to do it. You just have to have somebody in the team who is able to do that. Make sure that you have a social media manager and a digital manager in your team, and then simply implement those things. Make sure that the touchpoint transfer is smooth and easy, and I don't think there's tech people here, but for the tech people, in order to make it smooth and easy, it's very important that you have one central hub everybody reports to. So if you, for instance, go to the gym and you have the gym ticket on your phone or on your scarf or on your gym bag, the gym has to know I was there so that they can send me, hey, you were really good. You went, I don't know, so and so many times this month. This is really good. Be encouraging. Great. Like the service leadership again. How often did I go? And you have to praise me. You did really well and stuff like that. That's why all these Apple Watch things are so successful, because the people dance if you move and stuff like that. So it has to be one central hub, and the one central hub plays it all out. Last couple of minutes. The customer is in a very weird territory because the customer is everywhere. The customer is digital, physical, phygital, everywhere. The customer journey is off-road. The customer is not driving on the road, but the customer is driving there. That means you need to get out of your office, because the client is not in your office. The client is not here. You need to go where the customer is. You have to be a guide. You have to say, this is what you do, and now you have to do this thing. I have a vision. A scout, I will find out what you need. A companion, if you fail, I'm there for you. I'm going to help you. And somebody to share those moments with. This was really great. I'm so happy that you went to our team so many times. You went to the gym so many times. Fantastic. The thing is that you always have to act as the leader who helps the client get where they want to be. I hope it's not too business-oriented. The client is obviously a sports person you coach. You have to know where they want to be. Even if they are not there, even if they dive underground, they will always come back. The client will return. Maybe in a different shape, but they will return. So the question is, how can you create experiences to a returning client that the client shares and loves? Very, very easy. The most important thing is that a lot of managers manage quality. They manage how great the coffee is. They manage how great the foam is. But we don't go to a coffee shop just because of the coffee. We want the experience and the emotion. So don't just manage quality, manage experience, and especially manage expectations. So the first thing you need to do, you have to identify the expectation. What does the customer want? How do you identify expectations? You listen. You simply ask them. Thank you for joining our club. What is your goal? What do you want me to do? First step. Second, you define the expectation that you want to set. I join your club and I say, I want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then you look at me and you say, well, why don't we go for that much more muscle? You know, so my expectations might be completely unrealistic. You say, these are the ones that I can fulfill you. Define the expectations you want to set, which is you analyze the dream and you analyze what you can do. Then you communicate those expectations in a way that you can exceed them. So you tell to me you're going to have that much more muscle, and then I have that much more muscle, and I go, boom, I'm much better. Because if I don't meet them, I'm unmotivated. So you need to be able to exceed them, and then you act on that, and then finally you repeat that because the expectations will rise. We talked about the more mad, more crazy, more furious. That's what you need to do. The quality is relatively uninteresting. It's not important. Surpassing the expectation is the thing that counts. There might be I was actually recently in Belgium, and I ate a hot dog, which I didn't expect to be so good, and I said, wow, that's a really awesome hot dog. A hot dog is really bad quality meat. It's not a good thing, but I was amazed by it, and I said, this is a good hot dog. If you want to have a great experience, go to this store in Belgium and get a hot dog. It's fantastic. And then sometimes you drink a very expensive wine or champagne, and you say, it could be cooler, it's not a good thing. The quality of champagne is much better than the quality of the hot dog, but it's all about my expectation. I didn't expect the hot dog to be that great. I'm really happy, and I'm telling even you. I expected the champagne to be better, and I said, that was really boring. So it's not about the quality, it's about the expectation. And the magic trick is that you can go beyond expectations. The magic trick we thought about, think about the insane thing, remember? If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you fail above everybody else's goals. And this is what's happening here with this. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's a floor burger. It started in the United States for $5,000. A hamburger for $5,000. And now they have it in Europe too, and it costs exactly the same amount of money, 5,000 euros. And the question is, and it sells like crazy. People fly there to eat this. After the pandemic, it was amazing. There was the very long waiting list for $200 fries. And the question is why? And the trick is because everybody knows what a hamburger is. If you say, I have a special sushi for $5,000, you would say, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a rare fish. But it's a hamburger. And you go, what, a hamburger for $5,000? That's insane. And you go, yeah, it's for the crazy ones. The rebels, the round pegs in a square hole, for the people that are ready to change the world. Because if you eat this, if you eat French fries for 200 euros, you will tell all your life. No matter how good they are. And you said, yeah, man, I remember the pandemic was shit, restaurants were closed, but then I went out there and I ate fries for 200 bucks. Boom. And it will be with you all the time, and it will define you, and you will be happy about it. It's all about the story. And what is a great story? The great story means that the customer is the hero, and you are just the sidekick. Your fries are not the hero. It's not about how great they are. The customer who loves the fries is the hero. And the sidekick who gives them the fries has fire. And that means that the sidekick is friendly, innovative, responsible, and energetic. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dietmar, for being with us. I got one question for you, especially. Thank you, such an inspiring performance. What is your best experience in the last year? Is it a Fleur burger, for example, or something else? The best experience you've had?
The best experience is when there's certain things that cannot be done. For instance, when I flew here, I strained my back. And oops, that's why I cannot pick it up.
It's okay, I'm going to take it.
And I went to the hotel, and they said, oh, sorry, we don't have a massage, but we will get you one. So I will have a massage now, that's why I need to leave. But they said, we do not have one, but we will get you one. And this is exactly what it is. So I feel, oh my God, they get me something that I couldn't have, and that's beyond expectation. That's
not only experience, that's a level.
Yeah.
That's A level.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Paldies.
Bye-bye.